I want to welcome everybody to the Amway sales presentation. We do not have an American flag here. I was hoping we'd start with the pledge to remind us that we are participating in one of those rare opportunities that we all have, which is self-governance. I feel strongly that what we're going to hear tonight is to your benefit because you're paying for it. This is our county. We fund it. And to the degree that you have entrusted me with representation, I try to do my part to keep us a good place to live, work, and raise a family. Ellen Robinson's going to do some introductions, but before we get started, I want to, first of all, introduce myself. I am the 5th District member, or I'm the member of the Board of Supervisors from the 5th District. I appreciate very much. Yeah. Oh, okay, now we go. This is why I don't go to karaoke bars. Also because I don't sing well. I want to recognize some folks that are here. I know that David Owen, he is here. He is our member of the House of Delegates. He is a great partner. He and I have animated discussions on a number of things. My position is don't tell us what to do if you're not going to fund it. But I also want to recognize, I think we have some members of the Planning Commission here. And of course, we have Dwayne Cosby, who's the chairman from the 5th District. We have other planning commissioners here. We have the chairman of the Board of Supervisors, Mr. Winfrey. He's here from District 3. Thank you for being here. We have the chairman of the Economic Development Authority, Ben Sloan, is here. There he is, okay, yeah. We also have a representative from Congressman Whitman's office, who is a Goochland resident, so appreciate you being here, Matthew. Have I missed anybody? I don't know that I have. Well, we do have the president of the Historic Society, Robin Lind is here, so the Historical Society is well represented too. I'm going to hand the microphone over to Ellen Robinson. She's going to make some introductions, and then we're going to get started. I will say this is going to be speed dating. We are going to go quickly. We will have, I hope, at least an hour for questions and interaction. But there's a lot going on in the county that isn't just the technology overlay district. And so I think it's my job to make sure you're aware of things that are being done. My phone rings, not always about the TOD. People want to know about traffic. They want to know about schools. There are a lot of things people want to know about. So we're going to cover that, but I promise you, there's a reason that the TOD is the last item on the agenda, and we will certainly address that to the degree that we're able. So, Ellen Robinson is our 5th District school board member. I want to introduce her before she introduces others. Ellen has been in education her whole career. She finished her career here in Goochland. She taught for 9 years out of Byrd Elementary. She knows children, she knows education, and she also knows Goochland. I can't have a better team than Ellen and Dwayne on the Planning Commission. We're your team. I hope you will continue to call us and share your concerns. And
retire and raise a family. The strength of our community lies in our ability to communicate openly and work collaboratively. Your voice matters. Tonight, we have the privilege of hearing from an outstanding group of leaders from District 5 who have dedicated their time and efforts to serve our community. First, in bringing to you this town hall this evening is Jonathan Lyle, Board of Supervisors for District 5. Mr. Lyle has been a steadfast advocate for our district. He serves on the Monacan School Soil and Water Conservation District Board and Goochland Director from 2012 to 2023. He graduated in economics and business administration. He was a business owner and entrepreneur. Some of the organizations that he is still very involved in are the Virginia Farm Bureau, Chamber of Commerce, and Rotary, just to name a few. Finally, he believes conservation programs are important parts of our achieving our goal to keep Goochland rural. He will be sharing some vital updates about our county's initiatives and ongoing projects. He has a wealth of knowledge and the issues we face and will provide insight this evening on how we can collectively address them. We will hear from Dr. Andy Armstrong, our Superintendent of Schools. As an educator, parent, and leader, Dr. Armstrong is committed to ensuring that our schools provide the best possible environment for our children to be safe, to learn, and to thrive. He will be discussing exciting developments in our education system and how we can support our schools in achieving those goals. Dr. Rayleigh, our county administrator, has a keen understanding of our county's governmental roles in implementing operations that enhance our community's quality of life. He will be speaking about current county operations. Mr. Dwayne Cosby from District 5 Planning Commission will shed light on the planning and development those strategies that will be shaping our district. He will help us understand how thoughtful planning can lead to a brighter future for all of us in District 5. So, let's get started with our presentations and make this an informative and productive meeting. Thank you.
Dr. Armstrong, that's your cue. You do not want me presenting on the schools. I did spend 3 years in the 3rd grade, so I've got some of those skill sets, but Dr. Armstrong, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lyle. Good evening, everybody. I'm Andy Armstrong, Superintendent of Goochland County Public Schools, proud superintendent. I've been in the role now since April of this year. Prior to my appointment in April by Ms. Robinson and the school board, I served as the Associate Superintendent, Virginia Department of Education, and prior to that, I was the Assistant Superintendent here in Goochland from 2016 to 2023, and was a principal and teacher in Henrico County Public Schools before that. Came to Richmond from Newport News, where I grew up, to attend the University of Richmond, and here I am, 30 years later, still in the area and a proud father of 3 daughters as well. How many of you all in the audience have school-age children in Goochland County Public Schools? Show of hands. Wonderful. But let me tell you, that does not change my presentation one bit. And I'm going to tell you why. How about grandchildren? Thank you, Ms. Sloan. We keep our classes small. We are proud of the fact that we offer our staff and our families a high quality of life and experience when it comes to our school division. In our schools, we have been fully accredited by the Virginia Department of Education for over 15 years. I asked Dr. Guy, our assistant superintendent, like, how many years exactly? And he's like, as long as we've been here, we have been fully accredited, which is something I think there's only a handful of school divisions in the state out of 131, less than 10 that can say that, and we have been fully accredited for that entire time. We're an Apple Distinguished School Division. Our students use Apple devices, and we've been recognized for the very prudent and purposeful use of our technology on behalf of our students in our school division. We are the home of the Region 1 School Teacher of the Year from the state of Virginia. There are 8 superintendents regions, and she was, Rachel Tate at Goochland High School, was the Teacher of the Year for every school division in Central Virginia, all the way from Surrey to Goochland to Hanover down to Sussex. She was the #1 in that out of 8. So we're really proud of Rachel. Has done a tremendous amount of work with our veterans in our county, and we actually had about 40 veterans, including Mr. Spoonhauer, and there may have been some others here in the room, who came and interviewed with our high school students about their experience in the armed services. Very proud of Ms. Tate. And another thing I want to mention, I'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute, 74 of our 200 graduates at Goochland High School this past May graduated with an associate's degree from J. Sargent Reynolds Community College. So they left high school with a degree that transferred to the 4-year university that they attended, or they decided to use that associate's degree to go straight into the workforce, which represents money savings, time savings on behalf of their families. And I will tell you this, every year at that J. Sarge graduation, I sit in the audience. We're the smallest school division by student enrollment, but we have more students that graduate with an associate's degree than any other school division in that room. And that includes all the big boys in our area, the Henricos, the Hanovers, the Chesterfields. So very proud of that statistic for our students. A few things that are coming up. We are updating our strategic plan. This is the third iteration of our strategic plan, which began back in 2014. And we would value your feedback on that, everybody's. We want feedback from our community, from our parents, from our staff, and our students directly. So we're going to be, I'll show you a flyer with a QR code. I'll show you where to go to the link. Would love to get everyone's feedback on that. We'll be providing that information on our website as well as at the next town hall in October in the center of the county. I am in the midst of my superintendent's entry plan, where I'm conducting 5 listening sessions across the county. So I started in the west at Byrd Elementary School. I'm working my way east, and I will be at the Goochland Recreation Association on Sandy Hook Road next Tuesday. And then I'll be at Goochland High School, Randolph Elementary School, and right over on 3 Chopper Road at Jerusalem Baptist. Just finish that off on October 20th. But I'll give you all the details on that as well. We will be developing our budget starting in November. That is a process that is in collaboration with our county counterparts that requires a ton of scrubbing of lines and collaboration with our leaders. So we'll be working through that to present that to the board likely this spring. We'll be providing our capital improvement plan update as well, which is our facilities and plans for new construction that we have in the next 25 years. And we're going to be working on our calendar. That's a really big one for our parents especially. We're trying to move to a 3-year calendar so that our families know what to expect year in and year out. They can plan their vacations, they can plan their activities, and we can work with them on that. A few budget highlights. We operate with about $46 million all in annually. As you can see here, the majority of our money comes from you all. The state of Virginia operates on what's called a local composite index, which means that the more resourced your locality is, the less money you get from the states and the feds. Goochland has the highest LCI you can have. We have a 0.8 LCI, which means that we get very little proportionally from the state and the feds. So we value very much your engagement and your resources to help us to provide what we do for our students every day. Also want to note that we're a lean school division. We have a relatively small central office administration. We like to put all of our resources as much as we can into our classrooms. So the bulk of our funding goes to our classrooms and to our staff. Strategic plan update, that's that QR code I mentioned. Our current strategic plan has been recognized for its effectiveness, its concision. We work with the Luck companies. They have been a partner with us as we develop this, and we've gotten a lot of great feedback about our strategic plan. We're still doing that, and we would welcome your feedback. Our vision, mission, core values, these are not just words on a poster in Goochland County Public Schools. They mean something. Our teachers know them, our staff knows them, and we live by them. So we're really excited about updating this for the year ahead. I did want to dig in a little bit more on this, our focus on career pathways. One thing that anyone's in the room has heard me talk already, has heard me say, is that I don't want any student in Goochland County Public Schools to graduate on a Saturday, get their diploma, and wake up Sunday morning and not know what they're going to do next. The announcement recently about Eli Lilly, we're talking with Jay Sarge about advanced biomanufacturing. There are 6-figure jobs available for students. They don't have to leave this community. They stay here, we keep them here, we keep their taxpayer dollars here. That's the way we need to operate as a school division, not just making sure that we're catering to the students who we know are going to UVA. We got that too, but we've got to widen that variety for all of our students. See the kids there? That's that J. Sergeant Reynolds graduation I mentioned. Some of our students there, some of the virtual reality opportunities we have. And I want to highlight Mr. Owen, who is, you can see in that picture, we have a CTE signing day every year. So some schools do an athletic signing day for the kids who are going to play football. We do that, but we also celebrate our kids who are going to the workforce. It's a great event, and listen out for that. We'd love to have anyone come and see us do that. It's a really special moment for all of our students. My entry plan is going to focus on these items. Student achievement and safety first. That's keeping the main thing the main thing. Organizational efficiency. Excuse me. Data-informed decision-making, not just doing things because they're, the crowd says it's the right thing to do. We want to do this based on what we know is right, what the research says is right, and what our community tells us is right. And then relationship and trust building. That's where that listening tour comes into play, and transparent, open communication. I'm not going to go through every single one of the objectives under all of those, but these are just the subtext behind all of those objectives in my entry plan. Safety, culture of innovation, academic excellence, increasing efficiency, and this is a timeline for that entry plan. So this is really going to take place over the next year. I look forward to giving a first 100 days report in February, and we'll be looking at the end of those listening tours for me to compile all the information and feedback that I've received. That's the very quick, in a nutshell, highlights of what we're doing right now in the school division. I know a lot of you are here to hear from other folks about some other items, but I really do appreciate you all listening tonight and appreciate your support of our school division. Questions now, or should I wait, Mr. Lau? Am I good? Did I have 10?
I did start his clock a little late, but that was 10 minutes and 7 seconds. And we asked them to keep it to 10 minutes. And maybe I got a career in education. I don't know. And they were trying to teach me how to use this, so wish us luck. Do I point back here or up here or just, it doesn't matter. Well, look at that. So the welcome is myself. Mr. Cosby is in the wings. I mean, he is my wingman in so many ways when it comes to development here. And then, of course, Ellen introduced us earlier. We are looking to cover 8 topics here. And it, as I said, going to be speed dating. We're going to go bang, bang, bang. Dr. Armstrong's done a great job. And I'm going to interrupt myself. We have chairs up front. I know this is a Presbyterian church, but we're allowed to sit in the front pew. I mean, if anybody is tired of standing, we do have some chairs up here. I also want to recognize Mr. Spoonhour, who's the supervisor from District 2. Came in incognito, but he's a kind of a big fella and he's hard to hide. So I appreciate my colleagues, both from District 2 and District 3, from being here. So let's get started, first of all, with some good news. Lily is coming to Goochland. We had a very happy announcement about that. That took a while for it to happen. Yeah, see, we got some Baptists that are coming up to front. So, and this is just huge for us, in my opinion. I made no secret when I ran for the board. In fact, I have a copy of the May 10th, 2023 Goochland Gazette where I stated one of my campaign or my interest in running for this seat is to bring more commercial development. As you can see, I hope it's going to be where Motorola kind of left us at the altar in 1992. They did build parking lots, and the CEO of Lilly even mentioned that was one of the attractive aspects of this site, that the parking lots were already built. It's going to bring, as they project over the next 5 years, as the build-out continues, 650 permanent jobs in life sciences. I'm getting older, and I find I have a more robust regimen in the morning with some of my pharmaceuticals. So this is maybe, I don't know if we get a local resident discount or not, but this is just great news for us. It's a little hard perhaps to see, but if you've been through West Creek and you saw where those currently are soccer fields, that is where they're going to go. This is their rendition. It's not a plan of development that they have submitted to the county, but it's going to be a real contribution in addition to us here in the county. So congratulations. Dr. Armstrong's already given his presentation, so we'll skip over that. Transportation. There are about 5 or 6 things I get phone calls on. We got the connection right out there at Route 6, River Road, Cobblestone Road, Monacan, and Country Club Road. I call it Spaghetti Junction. Hockett Road, Route 6. The Tuckahoe Pines, if you look at the barrier that's down there, you see the wheel marks of people who are turning left, even though it's supposed to be right only. I get calls, how do I get my subdivision or my road resurfaced? Speed limits, does anybody wish we had lower speed limits in some of the communities? I know you do because I get the calls. And then we have that activity going on at I-64 and Ashland Road. Spaghetti Junction. We have done, or we've got some folks here from VDOT, so if there are questions, we can ask that at the question period, but that is a high crash incident intersection. Benedictine recently received approval to increase their enrollment over the next couple of years, and so we're going to see more traffic there, particularly in the morning, as students are coming west, taking a left down River Road to get to Benedictine. We're aware of it. I wish I could say we're going to have something done in the next 6 months. We did put a Rorschach blot test down. Any of you saw the painting markings? It was hieroglyphics, sort of. That didn't work. It didn't help, and so they were scraped back up, and we're back to normal. But it's on the radar, folks. if you have suggestions, it's been suggested maybe we should put a roundabout. Something's going to be done. Oh, okay. VDOT, are you listening? I'm the messenger. I'm the messenger. I'm sharing information. That's why we're here. But if it's safety, I mean, VDOT understandably wants to move traffic. They want to get people from point A to point B, and how they can do that safely without impeding or slowing traffic is one of the things that they look for as they do their engineering. We're also looking at Hockett Road and Route 6. Anybody who has been there when CarMax, Performance Food Group, or Capital One is getting out, some of those employees are coming up and trying to not sit in the traffic jam as they're coming right out of West Creek. The study was done, and because it's only during peak hours, section on 6 to where you would only have one eastbound lane, but the second lane would allow people to come off of Hockett and merge onto 6 and head east. They said no the first time, but it's like asking somebody at the prom. If they say no the first time, you come back and ask them again maybe. So we'll see if we can't get some relief there, but it is their determination. It was peak hour and not something that they would recommend making changes to. When Tuckahoe Pines applied for their permit to plan a development, they committed and proffered that they would have a right turn only exit from that property. And some of the residents there, do we have anyone here from Tuckahoe Pines? They would like to be able to turn left. I mean, because they don't want to go up the road, do a U-turn and come back. But the fact is, for safety purposes, you're crossing, it's 55 at that point. There's limited visibility in some respects, and quite frankly, they are older drivers. So it is right turn only, do a U-turn down the road. There is an application, it's not been approved, for a self-storage to go into the property. They're going to teach me how to use this pointer. Right in here would be a self-storage. The applicant said it's a place people store things and come look at their things. I guess we've all gone through some downsizing. That will trigger additional turn lanes to turn into that facility, and that may give us an opportunity to improve that intersection. So we still maintain the right turn only, but it's a little more convenient for the folks as they're traveling. And then we have the divergent diamond. Ashland Road has been an issue. I've been in the county 35 years, and I'll say for 36 years it's been an issue. And it's being addressed. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Spoonhour. He serves on the CVTA, which is the Central Virginia Transportation Authority. He really acquired the necessary funding for this to be done. And so we're going to get a second bridge, and anybody who's been designing crossroads, you kind of have that this doesn't feel right moment where you're crossing over and like you're in England or Scotland. But again, the authorities who study traffic say this moves traffic more quickly, it is safer, and it's going to be a 3-year plus operation. So I wish I could say it's all going to be better next week, and it won't. But if you've been there, I was there today. They are putting in a turn lane to access 64 West. Progress is being made, but it's at the speed of government, not the speed of business. We're going to have those at the end. Now I can't go back. I don't know how to go back. So if somebody who is, do we have a teenager in the house? Oh, look at that. Adult supervision is here. North is that way. That would be north. The park and ride that currently is there has been relocated. Let's see, I got this pointer again. Yep, thank you. Okay, who wants the mic? Where's, can I call a friend? So if you all understand, I'm going to click the clicker and we'll go on to the next slide. Are we good? Okay, thank you. So if you have issues with your roads, call me first. The VDOT folks are here. They've left their cards out front. There is, if there's a tree across the road, or if there's been high water and a washout or something that needs immediate attention, VDOT does have a 24/7 emergency line. But if you are interested in getting chip and gravel down on your road, where's Matthew? we've talked about his subdivision. I know Broadview, too, has got some sign issues that we were able to take care of. Call me. I mean, that's my job. I'm not going to come with a shovel and do it myself, but I've learned that sometimes when somebody with supervisor associated with their name, their phone calls get returned. And so I'm your advocate. I want to do what I can to help let you get a return on the tax dollars that you're paying. Real estate assessments. Anybody get a surprise when they open their real estate assessment this year? Besides me. Let me get up here to my notes. People will say that, well, how did they come up with this? And there really is, I'm going to use the word science to it. It's not something that's just made up. There's an algorithm, and it looks at things, property details, how big is the house, when was it built, what kind of amenities does it have. And they also look at comparables. Whose house may be in your neighborhood or in your area. They aren't going to look at something, say, out in Haydensville and then compare it to something, say, in Mosaic or in Lower Tuckahoe. But there is an algorithm that comes up and says a house like this in Goochland with this tax rate, this level of services, is likely going to be worth X dollars. The state code requires this to be done, that we have a window of wiggle room, but you can't be 70% low or 130% high. And we are pretty darn good because we are hitting, I believe, where I grew up, 98, 97, 98, those are all passing grades. People will say, well, I can't sell my house for that, and my assessment's too high. But if you go back and again and look, houses are selling with about a 1 or 2% variance in what they're assessed at and what they're selling for. So there is a process. Well, maybe you don't like it. Well, you have recourse. You can call the assessor's office and have a conversation. It's called an informal appeal. They'll discuss it. They may have one of the appraisers come out and look at the property. And if you aren't satisfied with that, we have a zoning board of appeals. You can put in a formal request for a review, and these are fellow citizens. They're appointed by the Board of Supervisors. They'll hear your case, and if you're still not really happy, there is an opportunity to take it to the circuit court. So when you get your appraisal, it really is based on not somebody just thinking that's what it's worth, but there is a process, there's an algorithm that puts the price there for that. Is that me? I hope not. Somebody's bedtime, I don't know. So this is utilities. I know that we have some folks here from Lower Tuckahoe. They have a 60-year-plus water system that originally sourced out of Henrico. We only have about 15% of the county that have what I'll call municipal or public water and sewer. Those areas in the courthouse, we work with the Department of Corrections. And then in the eastern part, we, the county, actually have an operation. There is also Aqua Virginia. Does anybody here have Aqua Virginia as a provider? They're private. We have, as a county, nothing to do with how they run their operation or how they price their product. But for those 15% of the county who are on public water, this is an eye test. I mean, this is the map. It shows where we are. We're the eastern part all through here, and it's limited. I mean, I don't even know the number of miles or yards of piping we have. We do have, Elizabeth is here, our new Director of Public Utilities. She's in the back waving at me. Nobody else can see her. But she has come on. Dr. Raley referred to her as a rock star. So we're expecting great things, and all this will be solved by next week, but no pressure. But we're aware that we have issues with that. We get our water from Henrico, and our effluent goes to the city of Richmond. We are not what is called an MS4, and that's somebody who has their own water system. We are not subject to DEQ or EPA regulations. But that doesn't mean we aren't responsible for getting you clean, potable water with pressure that allows you to take a shower. And we know that there are some issues that we're looking We are self-funded as a utility. We don't make money on it. None of the money that you pay on your utility bill goes into the public fund. It is 100% dedicated to utilities. And we have what we call repair and replace. So pipes wear out, mains break. Mr. Clements here has advised that our fire hydrants need some TLC. So there are things that we use that money for, but when you pay your water bill, when you pay your utility bill, it's 100% dedicated to that service. People say, well, we're awful expensive, and I'm not going to say it's cheap. I'm on a septic and a well, so I pay Elvis to come pump my septic tank, and I also got to replace my well pump now and again. But when you look at what people who are using water and sewer through the county, it works out to about 2 cents a gallon. Doesn't seem to be any discount whether it's coming or going. It's 2 cents to go and 2 cents to come, but the bill works out to about $5.83 a day. That's comparable to Hanover and Powhatan. We are not of their size. They have some economies of scale. I'm not advocating that we increase public water and sewer in the county, but there is some, I think, benefit to our size. We're right sized. We can deliver what I think you deserve and expect. And I don't know, $5.83. I'm not a Starbucks guy, but I think, what do they call them, grandes? I mean, even that's more than $5.83 a day. What are we going to be doing so far as issues? Lower Tuckahoe has water pressure issues. We're looking at that. We are looking at having a pump station and another water tower put in over the next couple of years. The plan is going to be developed. We don't have that identified. It's in what we call our capital improvement plan or our utilities plan. I'm reading from here in my own notes. The ad valorem tax is also something I get phone calls on. Who here pays the ad valorem tax? Yeah, a couple of folks. We have had people who are in the Tuckahoe Creek Service District say, we would like to hook up to water and sewer. So those are some of the issues that we are looking at. Connection fees, when people do join, they're being asked to pay. They don't get to hook up for free, and some folks are suggesting that a couple $1,000s is a lot of money to pay to hook up, but it is the cost of doing business. I don't think you who are currently on the system should be subsidizing somebody new who wants to come on. So again, I have confidence in our staff that they've calculated those prices fairly, and so it is something in. My understanding is we can work out terms if somebody is in a financial situation. We can extend payments and be accommodating to help them get there. Fire hydrants, public safety is the thing I start all of my analysis on a budget. Are we safe? Is this a community that we feel comfortable living in? And so I want to make sure our fire hydrants work. To that point, well, look at this. I need to follow my own slides. You know, I rehearsed this, so this is why I'm not on Broadway. I'm just going to wing it. I got it on the screen. So the water storage and the pump station is in the utilities master plan, as I shared. We don't know where exactly. It's going to help. I mean, Lilly is going to need additional water resources, and they'll want their water pressure to be where it needs to be. They're 2+ years in the future. And we are working with Henrica right now, particularly for the folks on the River Road corridor, to get an immediate, I'll call it solution for the water pressure. On fire hydrant maintenance, I've asked for, politely, but with a little bit of certitude, I want to see a quarterly report. I mean, we got, I think it's 823 fire hydrants in the county. I want to know, are they working? If they're not working, when are they going to be repaired? And when was the last time they were looked at? It's just fundamentals. I only did 3 years in the military, but we did combat readiness. And so you wanted to make sure your equipment was ready for combat if you got called, which I wasn't. But I still knew that my M16 and the unit I was with was combat ready. I want to make sure our fire hydrants can put out a fire. I mean, that's kind of why we got them. So if we got broken fire hydrants and everything, I mean, water hydrants freeze, things happen, but I want to make sure they work. So the real estate tax rates and the ad valorem. there has been a suggestion that, well, the fact is, we do have the lowest tax rate in the region, 53 cents on $100. That sometimes comes back to hurt us because other localities will say, well, why should we help you fund some of your roads through the CVTA when you've got such a low tax rate? And Mr. Spoonhour correctly points out it's because we're very efficient and effective in our governments here. We know how to do it right. So that tax rate has been in place since 2007. We haven't changed it, we haven't raised it, we haven't lowered it. It's been a consistent. The appraisals have increased the tax revenues coming in because the land is seen to be more valuable. So I advocated last year that perhaps we could cut our tax rate by a penny. Well, that would have decreased revenues to the county by $1 million. So if we'd gone from 53 to 52, well, in a house that's appraised at $750,000, we would have saved that taxpayer, that homeowner, $75. Now, on principle, I like the idea of cutting taxes, but I would rather see us move the needle, really move the needle, and get rid of the ad valorem tax, because that's 32. Whoa. Let me come back to that and say, we need to get rid of the ad valorem tax. And we do that by growing the pie. Right now, at 32 cents on the 100, that same $750,000 home would save $2,400 a year. Well, where I grew up, that's real money. Well, the good news is we're a lot closer to doing that than many folks might realize. The bonds, as issued, would run all the way through 2042. Last year, we made I guess you would say, a principal-only payment of $18 million. And according to this table, as we continue to grow, we bring more economic development into West Creek. Have I mentioned Lily's coming to West Creek? $5 billion contribution. It is possible that we would find the ad valorem, possible is a key word, paid off by 2030, which is, call it 4.5 years from now. That's part of what I think will bring real relief to the folks. Am I opposed to lowering the real estate tax rate? No, not at all. I'd love to do that. But we also want our sheriff, our firefighters, our schools, all of the amenities, and I don't know so much amenities, but core services that county government delivers to be properly funded. Public safety, I'm not sure if anybody's here from Kinloch. I know there are some people here from Kinloch. We had a long-going discussion as to where to put what's called Fire Station 7. Right now, we are proceeding with a location on Hockett Road. We paused it. We wanted to do due diligence and explore were there other locations that would serve the public and still provide us with the economics of being able to build that fire station. We have determined that we're going to proceed with that location on Hockett Road. Environmental work is being looked at. There is a procurement process. We have one fire station in District 2 underway. It's not under construction, Station 8. And so to the degree that we can learn what Station 8 is doing, we want to carry that over to Station 7. But I would say we're still probably 2 years away from seeing Station 7 open up there on Hockett Road. Fire and rescue, we have a combined service here in the county. What we do is everybody that is on service is both an EMS as well as a firefighter. That allows a fire truck to go out crewed with someone who can do both jobs. Same with an ambulance. If the ambulance goes out, it has someone on it that could fight the fire as well as provide EMS services. We are, I guess we would say, a aging population here in the county. We do have some 55-plus communities, but a lot of us are aging in place. My house is paid for. I don't have a mortgage. Even with my taxes and my septic and well, I'm living in my house for about $20 a day, which is better than Motel 6, so I'm not going anywhere. And so what that does, though, is it puts pressure on our career. Our volunteer participation is robust. We still have very active volunteers, but our society has changed. If you are a pharmacist and your pharmacy is in, I'll just say, Brooke, I don't know, Eastern Henrico, when the alarm goes off, you're not going to leave your pharmacy in Eastern Henrico and come back to put out the fire. So we've moved to a career population. Each one of our firefighters and deputies, rule of thumb, is about a $100,000 investment. And that's, I think, a deal, because we're getting somebody who's not only going to save property, but most importantly, they're going to save lives. So with volunteers, I'm going to out myself, I just became an auxiliary member of Station 1 here in the county. Even though I went to college in the 70s, my fingerprints came back okay. So I'm going to wash the trucks and sweep the floors. Your property and lives are safe. I will not be on this vehicle when it comes to your house. But it'll look like a really good washed truck. That's what I'm going to do for you. So Chief has said, well, how do we keep people safe in their homes? Most of our calls, 80%, are they're ambulance calls. We have precious few. In fact, if you have, some people do have copies, it's great. 2% of the calls are actually fire. I mean, sometimes we have false alarm, we have what's called a as need, but 80% of our calls to 911, and when we dispatch vehicles, they're coming because of a medical issue. And that's okay, but it puts pressure on us, because when that ambulance leaves the fire station, we don't just drive to St. Mary's, take the person out or the patient and leave them there in the emergency room. We stay until they're admitted, and the term is wall time. So we can have an ambulance at St. Mary's for 2 hours, 3 hours, until that patient is admitted. And after COVID, there's been a real shrinkage of medical services available. So what we need to do is stay there, which means that ambulance can't go out onto 64 when there's an accident. We are really finding ourselves having to ramp up, which is going to have inherent costs, but that's public safety, and for me, that's the first thing I look for when we're looking at the budget. Chief did ask that we put this in. This is Fire Safety Week, so Sparky wants you to change the batteries in your smoke detector if you don't have one. I think Chief will get you one. They've even installed them for people who don't like to climb ladders. So it is Fire Safety Week. And if you have lithium-ion batteries, which I think most computers do, make sure they don't catch on fire. Is how to do. Is that good? Okay, next slide. Staffing, as I said, is going to continue. We're up to 82 career as we add more fire stations. Usually, if you got a fire station, you have staff there. When I first moved to the county in 1990, we did not have, first of all, career. And so if there was a fire at 2 o'clock in the morning, somebody had to get out of bed, come to the station, get in the truck, and then go to the fire. Right now, we have people at the station, so the call comes in, they get on the equipment and go to the fire. So response times have improved, but it comes at a cost. And I expect we'll always have volunteers, but we're going to continue to grow our career staff. And I want folks to feel safe that if there is an incident, whether it's medical or fire, that someone's going to be there. And we work towards the national response times. We're Goochland. I don't think we're ever going to have a fire station on every corner. When I ran for office, I said we can't put an ambulance and a squad car in everybody's driveway. So there will be times that response times will not be as quick maybe as national standards. Welcome to Goochland. I don't think there's anything we can do to really change that. Volunteers, I mentioned, we've got robust volunteers. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm not the recruiting agent, but it is giving back to the community. And again, I'm auxiliary. I'm going to wash the trucks, roll the hoses, sweep the floors. But for those who may have even had a career in medical, there's an opportunity to continue to give back. You'll see that we've had some robust hours. Back in 2024, we had 12,000. 5 years ago, we had 18,000. And once again, our society is changing. People no longer live and work in the community. 13% of Goochland who live in Goochland work in Goochland. So we have either a high retired audience or people who are living somewhere else. Public safety, the sheriff is doing a phenomenal job. I mean, I sleep well at night. My wife likes to lock the doors at night. I grew up where I didn't, so we lock the doors at night. But it is a safe community. I know that in Randolph Square we had some itinerant gangs moving through, and they were doing home entry, home breakage, or burglary. Sheriff Creasy took care of that as quickly and as efficiently as possible. I feel safe in this community. I want to make sure that he has the tools, as my board members, my colleagues. We start with public safety every time we look at the budget. We want efficiency. We don't want fat. But if there's going to be a little bit of error or fluff, I don't even say fluff, if there's going to be some margin in a budget, I expect you're going to see it in public safety. And let me make mention of this. I take a vacation, maybe once every 10 years, but they have what they call Vacation Watch. And so if you let the sheriff know you're going to be out of town, they actually will come and patrol. They'll do a special patrol to make sure your house is secure and safe. I asked Stephen if they would start watering plants and bringing the mail. He said no. But please take advantage of that. I can't think of a more dedicated public safety servant than Sheriff Creasy. He really does want us to stay safe and be safe. So keeping Goochland rural. Some of you may have seen my name on the ballot over the last 12 years for Conservation Director. And since you didn't know what it was, I call it the What's That office. 30% of you didn't vote. And it's like, I don't know what this is, I'm not voting. But the job was to help the agricultural community put best management practices in place with support. Delegate Owen has been a big supporter of best management practices that support our agricultural community. So what I would like to suggest that there are opportunities for landowners. You don't necessarily have to build rooftops. You could actually put in what's called a perpetual conservation easement. There are tax credits involved. What you would be doing is saying this land is going to stay in a state of agriculture or open space, and there are tax credits that allow you to actually almost sell the development rights. So we have a greener Goochland. You're not just giving the land, giving the land away, but we have an opportunity to keep Goochland rural in a win-win situation. If you look at any of the colors up here, these are all properties that have been put into conservation easements. So some of them are held by Capital Region Land Conservancy. Some are held by the Virginia Outdoor Foundation. There are very few, about 6, that are actually held by Goochland County itself. But if you are one of those fortunate folks who has land and you're saying, you know, I really don't know what to do with it, I would suggest you might consider a conservation easement. I left some material out there from the Capital Region Land Conservancy, or you can give Parker Aglestow or Jane Myers a call. There are options besides putting roofs on open space. Economic development. All right, it's 6:53. I said we're going to leave about an hour or so for conversation on economic development. As I mentioned earlier, why do we want to recruit new business? Right now, 85% of the tax revenue comes from homeowners, comes from us. I would like to see us get to what I call the sweet spot of 70-30. And again, simple math means, well, we got to get more commercial in here. Where do we get that 18% of commercial right now? We do get it from property taxes. We get it from machinery and tools. There are some business and personal property. I know the tax of 1812, the business professional occupancy or licensing tax has been around for a couple hundred years. Data center taxes. We don't have any data centers, but there is a tax there for that. We have a gas tax. The Central Virginia CVTA, there is a small tax now that we pay that comes directly back to us here in Goochland, so we can start doing some of our own road improvements, and then permits and contracting fees, connection fees. So the Technology Overlay District, has anybody heard of this discussion? Did anybody come for any reason except the TOD? did you want to hear about the schools, really? Sorry, Dr. Armstrong, but, we had the one person here with a kid, so, that's good. There is a need, I believe, sincerely, that we grow our commercial tax base. But I don't think it has to be just unthought through and unplanned. And it's my opinion that what we are doing right now with the TOD is exactly what we should be doing. I've been in meetings where people have told me this is a done deal, and I hope politely I've advised them, no, it's not. This is a process we are going through. I can't speak for my colleagues. I'm up to 547 emails and communications from citizens. I have not been as efficient in responding to them all, but you will get a reply from me if you wrote to me. I think that's upon me to do that. And I've got some dialogue going on with some. I know, where's Breck? He's here. I've got people, we're almost pen pals, I guess. They send me a message, I send them back. And I value it, because I don't read minds. My wife reads mine, but I don't read anybody's. So we're going to get the questions about 1/2 second. Oh, no. Can somebody say which way is north? Where please is? Mosaic would be right there. Oh, my hearing's pretty good, but I don't know what that was. So was that? Is what Hockett Road, please? This, right? Whoops. That, well, Hockett would, yeah. This would be Mosaic. And let's see, this would be, what would this be? Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, Reader's Branch. All right, and this is 64 is the red, 288 is the blue. What would the TOD in its, and I'm going to use this word in big bold letters, draft form allow? And it's gone through iterations maybe since this was put together 2 days ago. But advanced manufacturing, there's a company by the name of Lilly. Have I mentioned Lilly's coming to Goochland? They would be advanced manufacturing, robotics. They are the kind of company we'd like to see. It's not all about data centers. Data centers are one of the industries that could come, but it's not the only one that could come. We have, whoops. Oh, dadgummit. Show me how to go backwards, please. There we go. I learned it all by myself. Thank you. Thank you, Ellen. So we have a variety of what I will call is corporate America in the future. Yes, the steel industry, my father worked for U.S. Steel for 30 years. One of those few people who took a job and stayed with the same company almost his whole career. Steel industry is going through a real dynamic. Technology, such as life sciences, those are areas we think are going to be attractive company to come to Goochland. And that's been our objective. This is us saying we want to put the welcome mat out for these types of companies. But if you come here, here's how we do things. These are how we buffer. This is how we manage noise. This is how we keep things to where the people here today are not completely disruptive. I had a colleague say, we want to be the best in everything that we do here in Goochland, so why don't we be the best in noise abatement, in buffering, in screening, in setbacks, and things that allow us to win-win? Because I don't think it's incompatible for us to have technology companies and a healthy, vibrant community. I'm looking for that sweet spot. One of the questions has been proposed, well, if we bring industry to Goochland, we should have a hold harmless, or we should make sure homeowners don't lose any value. I went back and pulled this landowner's information from 1996 all the way up to this year. In 1996, their property was at $457,000, and since then it has gone up to $1.8 million, almost $1.9 million. But if you look at the years, 2011, 2012, 2013, their appraisal went down. Well, there weren't any data centers in the county at those years. what made it go down? So I'm just going to state right now, I'm not in favor of the county establishing a fund that would allow a property or a homeowner to always feel like they're going to make money. That's not how the system works. I have no idea why that went down. I guess it could have been national economics. How would we determine why a house lost value? I appreciate hearing it. I want to have a conversation, but I felt compelled tonight to say, if that is a line in the sand, that we have to have a government or a county fund that keeps everybody's house guaranteed to increase in value, I'm not your guy. I'm not going to sign up for something like that. I just don't think that's how the market system works. And if somebody knows why that homeowner had their home value go down those 4 years, I may be happy to listen. I mean, their taxes went down because we kept that same 53-cent rate. Let's see. We've heard about noise. I have a refrigerator. It's actually the original refrigerator in the house. It's 35 years old. Larissa would like to get a new one. Honey, it keeps the food cold. I like that refrigerator. It's a GE. I ran the phone app. It was 18 decibels. Some people have said, well, we need to have zero sound from any commercial development that takes place in the TOD. I don't think we'll ever reach that. What I'd like to have is a reasonable discussion. Is 65 too loud? Maybe. Is 50? Okay. What is, and that's what I'm asking people when I have conversations. What's your number? Is it 50? Is it 45? If it's zero, I'm not your guy. I don't think it's kind of, I mean, cicadas are going to be higher than zero. I mean, I'm not going into the cicada policing industry. That is why we have a process. This is not a done deal. Give me, I'm going to personalize it. Give me your numbers. What are the bufferings? What are the setbacks? What are the building heights? I told Rob, Williamson, I was going to call him out in a good way. He has provided tremendous information that has helped me think about what kind of setbacks and what kind of building heights would be helpful. Folks, you live here, you have opinions, and you have information. I was talking with a nuclear engineer earlier who retired from Dominion. Folks, you know stuff. Help us get educated. We may not agree on everything, but let's be partners in the process. I went to the Sierra Club presentation, and Tim's a nice guy, I'm sure, but he was setting us up to be adversarial. Well, you need to get in front of those board of supervisors, and you need to tell them. It's like, let's have a conversation. That's why we're having this meeting tonight. I didn't want to have a remote, one-size-fits-all town hall. I need your input. I know 537 of you know how to email me, so I want to hear from you. And if you can help me understand what would be the type of satisfiers for you, I want to hear it. And as we can best come to an agreement, we will. So we're going to get to the questions in about 13 seconds because I got one or two more slides. So economic development is to put, again, in my opinion, put us on the offensive. We define. If you're coming to Goochland, we expect this so far as noise abatement. We expect this so far as screening. We expect this so far as buffering. But I'm a property rights person. I don't think I can come and tell somebody who for 30 years has been in the West Creek planned business park to say, oh, we're going to change the rules on you 100%, and what we told you you could do for the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, you can't do that anymore. That's called down zoning, and it can be done. I mean, we amend the Constitution, so everything can be changed, but it's not usually pursued, and it's not usually viewed very favorably by the courts. So how do we make the best situation of the realities of 2025? I think we can do it. I hope we do it. I need your input. My colleagues need your input. They want your input. It's not a done deal. Let's have a dialogue. Let's figure this out together. We're not against each other. We're really trying to come up with a good solution. That's my opinion. That's what do they say? That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So what are we going to get? Well, as we look at what we're getting from growth, Amazon is here. Oh, somebody put some new slides in there. My site's pretty good, but it's not that good. So we can see that we're going to see maybe $93 million over the next 20 years from Eli Lilly. That's real money. Amazon is going to contribute $1.5 million a year. That's real money. These are all things that I hope add to our community, but also add to our revenue stream. I don't think, again, the two are incompatible. And these are preliminary. They haven't been audited. Everybody makes estimates. But I do think that economic growth, commercial growth, is going to take the tax burden off of us, get rid of the ad valorem tax, and actually provide some, I think, employment opportunities. So maybe we'll get to 20% of the people who live in Goochland work in Goochland. The elephant in the room is the data centers. Northern Virginia has absolutely upset the apple cart. They did it probably as wrong as you could do it. And as I understand it, a lot of the money they thought they were going to get hasn't really materialized. I'm repeating myself because it's important. The TOD is our opportunity to set the rules. What do we want? Again, I keep coming back to noise, buffering, setbacks, screening, the things that I see in my emails. At the community meeting on the 8th, I think we had a hierarchy of what people were interested in. Those consistently are the big 8. Now, people have sometimes said, well, wait a minute. This is all new. You've never talked about this before. This is an excerpt from the 2035 comp plan. It was adopted in 2018. All of this gray is what was called prime economic development, 2018. This is the Country Club. This would be Creekmore. This is now Mosaic. You'll notice it was prime economic development, but it's residential now. And this is Monica Road. So this is Creekmore, I'm sorry. I want to say that I want to see us protect the people that are here today. But in 2018, when we put this together, I mean, I was here in 2018. I knew what the plan was. This was supposed to be prime economic development. Times have changed. I recognize we got residential now. I want us to make it a win-win. I want to buffer it. I want to keep the noise down. I want to see us have something that is compatible to what we've got, but we can't just say it's going to stay agricultural forever. It's unfair to those landowners. They've been paying taxes on it since 2018, thinking they would be able to develop it commercially. So if you'll help me assemble that information, I'll do this every week, maybe not here, but I've already been part of a Creekmore community meeting. I will come and pay attention, I'll take notes, and I'll do my best to represent you because I think that's my job. So, Dwayne, I want to get the team out here. Ellen, Dwayne, first of all, it'll look a lot better if they're up here, just not me, because they're a lot better looking than me. But Dwayne is chairman of the Planning Commission, and he is my trusted advisor. He does the heavy lifting. His background is in planning. He actually has a master's in urban planning. I tell him, drop the urban, just keep the planning. And then Ellen, and Dr. Raley, come on up here. You're an offensive lineman. I mean, Dr. Raley is graced with having graduated from UVA and played on the offensive line there. His son, Hayden, is twice his size and playing for William & Mary right now. And I think he negotiated a like images contract, and so, you know, he's making millions now. Is that how that goes? But Ellen is, again, just a huge advocate for the schools. Dwayne puts the work in. He and I talk. If it's not 3 times a week, it's 4 times a week. What do you think of this? And just so you know, he does his thing. I don't say, well, Dwayne, I want you to vote this way, or I think you ought to do this. That's not his job, and it's not my job. If that was how it worked, it wouldn't work. He has brought so much value with his background and his insights, because he's kind of on point. He's seeing this, and he's calling me and saying, did you know? Let's talk data centers. Did you know that if a data center is serving a bank client, they qualify for bank tax rates and not commercial tax rates? And David, the General Assembly, in its infinite wisdom, has created a special tax rate for banks. And so I don't want to see an operation come in that is now serving a bank, and our tax rate or our tax revenue goes from X million to 1/2 X million. I mean, that would upset me. I wouldn't want to see that happen. Dwayne does those kind of insights. He does that kind of work. He's helpful, and if I hand him the microphone, he's the chairman, so he knows what to do with it. But he wants to hear from you too. How many emails have you gotten, Dwayne?
Well, that's correct. And thank you, Mr. Lau. I echo what Mr. Lau has said as well, Jonathan, that we do want to hear from you, whether it's email, again, you can call as well. I've gotten calls from some of you. I've gotten some emails, lots of emails, text messages as well. And I've also have been in some dialogue with some of you over the last couple of weeks, working with this TOD issue. And again, I don't think any of my fellow Planning Commission members are here. I don't see any, but we are a very diverse group. Again, as Jonathan said, I have a degree in urban and regional planning from VCU. I've worked in planning for years in the local sector, the private sector. For example, Michael Baker Engineering. I've worked for several regional planning organizations. Also been in public transit management, and recently was supposedly retired from public transit consulting. But we also have a gentleman on our commission who is a realtor here in this area. So he obviously is very vested and very involved in what would happen with land values and housing values here. We also have a young lady who on our commission who's also a educator who works in the school system. So obviously she thinks about the youth and what happens within the school system. We have another gentleman who's retired from the medical field. We also have the last member on our board who I call him the thinker. He is a retired individual from NASA. So he is always thinking and figuring things out. So we have a very diverse group, and that's good because we can bounce ideas and thoughts off of each other, and we can just kind of rattle things around. And so, of course, each one of us has, just like Jonathan and I work together, each one of them have their own board member to work with and to hash things out as well. So again, we're here to help you help this county be the best county in the state of Virginia. And I know we can do that together. You didn't move here by accident. You, of course, are very engaged and very, very mindful of what would and could take place in this county. And obviously, because you're here tonight, obviously you came to the meeting a couple of Mondays ago, as well as many of you were at the meeting, Plans Commission meeting Thursday night. So again, we want your input. We want to hear from you. No question is a ridiculous question. No thought is ridiculous. You know, everything that can be presented, we want to process, we want to look at it, we want to think about it. And again, that's the best way that we can serve you, the residents of Goochland County. Thank you.
All right, so we'll stay here until they tell us to leave, but we've got at least 45 minutes for questions. And oh boy, how do I do this? Do I need an MC, Dr. Raley? I'll go free form, but there's one requirement, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry. The first question has to be on schools. we gotta give Dr. Armstrong a reason for being here. So somebody, we're not taking anything on TOD. Somebody ask a question about schools. Okay, we have a winner. Dr. Armstrong, here's the microphone. Or I think we got one of these Vanna White type of wandering around things.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, I did have a question on schools. That is, I worked for DuPont and BASF for many years, and so I did 10 years of strategic planning. I also live in District 4, and District 4 and District 5, without any supporting data, I'm assuming is the higher growth areas in Goochland County in terms of population and therefore for our schools. So my question is, you showed some numbers there and said that the population ebbs and flows. Are you looking 5 years and 10 years out on what that population, excuse me, is expected to do, especially from Districts 4 and Districts 5? And if so, how does that planning process go for educators, increasing the number of educators and eventually the number of schools?
Yeah, that's a great question. And our division in 2017, when Dr. Relly served as superintendent, I was assistant, we commissioned a long-term facilities plan from a third party that did a lot of that work. And since that initial plan, which did facilities condition index, enrollment projections, live birth index, a very comprehensive plan, which led to recommendations that I think for the knowledge here included the replacement on the same site or a different site of the current Randolph Elementary, which is the closest elementary school to where we sit, anticipating the year 2040, operational 2040, and the current Byrd Elementary in the far west end in 2035. So those would be the next, again, that was the recommendation of that steering committee and that team at that time. We've commissioned, I'm sorry, not commissioned yet, we're going through procurement right now to update our enrollment projections. And I will tell you this is a really, I had this conversation, I think, in our legislative workshop a couple weeks ago. Doing an enrollment projection in Goochland is very complex work, and you probably would understand that, because I will tell you that in especially District 5, for example, when I came to this division, I looked in the directory of St. Catherine and St. Christopher's School, and there were 250 school-age children that had Goochland addresses at those schools alone. So you combine that with the collegiate, Benedictine, and other private schools, where a lot of families I know in this area especially send their kids. It's geographically more convenient, but a lot of times it's generational. They've sent their kids there for several generations. So take that into account, but we're also seeing now families are moving into the county and moving to the center of the county. So they're moving to Breeze Hill, subdivisions in the center of the county that have median home prices around $650,000, $700,000. They're not convenient at private schools. These families are going to send their kids to GCPS. So while I don't have the crystal ball in all this, I just wanted to kind of underscore the fact that it's complex work and we're aware of it, and we're very careful with who we select to do a lot of that work. But long term, as I said, we haven't seen that huge swell yet. We may never. And it all depends, again, on a lot of factors we've talked about tonight from the county and schools perspective. But it's something that I'm very attuned to and our team will continue to work on. Thanks. Sorry, I don't want to commandeer the entire Q&A here, unless you want me to.
What do you think about the TOD?
I'll take this question first, and I'll give you my opinion on that. We do need bus drivers, and I'm completely serious. I know some people giggle, but if you want to make a few extra dollars, our bus garage is on Triple T Road, right there on your way up Broad Street to Centerville. We need drivers. The first face our students see in the morning, the last face they see on their way out. We need some good folks, so we will train you. So let me know if you're interested. I think I'm off the hook now, Mr. Lau, so I'm going to put you back on the spotlight.
So, all right, Mr. Pendergrass, you saw your hand pop up there. Yes, okay. There's a microphone in Dr. Rayleigh's hand.
Yeah, but the live stream won't hear you. Okay, thank you. My name's Dave Pendergrass. I live over on River Road. The Spaghetti Bowl. I've been involved with that for 15 years. Is that about right, Benny? Because I was the one who sued the county and the school to keep Benedictine from coming out here, because I knew what we were getting involved with. I had dealt with them in the city of Richmond, where I was a teacher for 30-some years. Now, I have nothing against the school itself. They do a great job with their kids. But they mandated that all their students were going to come turn a left off of Patterson onto River Road. Well, that lasted about a week, and then they started coming from wherever. As they increased their enrollment, it increased the amount of people that need to be there. VDOT came in with several plans. At first, they were going to expand the turn lane 400 feet. That fell by the wayside because it was VDOT. And then they came back after Manny and Dave Williams from Powertown were able to get enough money from the regional transportation to do that and to square up the intersection. For those of you that want to turn left off of River Road onto Patterson, you can't see down the road. It's tough. You almost have to pull into the intersection and look, because you're sitting at about 110 degrees. So Goochland County should not put a dime into this, fixing this problem. This is a VDOT problem, and Benedictine has the money. They pay no taxes. Their assessment is over $80 million for their land now in schools. Their real estate taxes per year would be $480,000, but they don't pay it because they're tax exempt. So if they want to get the money and they think it's a problem, let them fix it, but it's not our problem.
All right, I don't know if there's a question in there, but, okay, that's fine, and I'm not, I want to answer questions, and this gentleman has one, because he raised his hand.
Hi, Dennis Monahan, I live over in Mosaic.
Yes, sir.
Question about the data centers. Other counties, I've noticed, have been denying them. Most recently, I read Henrico over in the Verina area has denied one. Are we talking to these other counties to find out why they're denying it, yet we're still pursuing it?
Let me answer personally. I saw Joe Casey, who is the county manager for Chesterfield last night. I went to the Capital Region Land Conservancy 20th anniversary because I like conservation. Joe Casey was there, and we had an abbreviated conversation on that. The Tuckahoe supervisor in Henrico, a gentleman by the name of Jody Rogish, he and I both serve on the Richmond Region Transportation Planning Organization, fondly called the RRTPO, and he and I had an animated conversation, informative conversation, 3 days ago. So the answer is yes, we are, and I want to make sure we get a lot of questions. But so the short answer is yes, we are. We are doing due diligence. This is not a done deal. It is a work in progress. I make the comment, I need to learn from other people's mistakes because I don't have time to make them all myself. So we want to know, where did they go wrong? But, you know, Henrico started off with by right, and they got themselves a whole raft of data centers. I think what they've realized is, well, you know, enough is enough. And that has been one of the reasons they have made their changes. But yes, we are talking. We're a regional organization, and we're going to continue to have those. I'm going to continue to have those dialogues, and I believe my colleagues will too. The gentleman in the back has been very patient. He raised his hand. He doesn't have a microphone, though, so we can't know what his question is. It's for the people watching at home.
Thank you very much. And by the way, I appreciate the fact that we're having these open forums. And you hit my hot button with buy right.
Okay.
That scares me more than anything else that we're talking about doing, because it's my understanding, and I could be wrong, I've tried to research this, that if we accept all of this TOD through buy right, basically, even the Board of Supervisors will not have a say specifically as to how many data centers are going to go where and that type of thing. And these meetings are going to go away. Am I missing the boat there? That, to me, in talking to my friends and colleagues in Henrico County, that was their biggest concern with the whole buy right idea, that, hey, you know what? And I told somebody, one of my neighbors who did not make it here tonight, I want to say, but I said, if you want to be heard, you better get to these meetings now, because there seems to be such a big hurry. How are you going to hear all of us also? I guess that will be the question in there. What about buy right, and how are you going to be hearing everybody? And I believe you when you say you want to be heard. You're going to hear everybody by November 4th? Is that correct? My understanding from the first meeting I went to was that this was going to be voted on the 4th, and that worries me too. So I'm not as concerned about the TOD as I am the TIME.
I like that. That's pretty good. By right, and this is my take on it, is we set the rules. Is that me? Whoops. Okay. It's not me. No, the phone rang. I was wondering if that was me. I approach this, and I'm here to listen. I mean, please be gentle. but stern, that we would define what we found acceptable. What are the buffers? What are the noise levels? What are the setbacks? What are the building heights? If we set those rules and somebody came that wasn't going to comply with that, we'd say no, politely, but this isn't what we're looking for. So the other, if you want to call it, elephant in the room is in West Creek, there are already 10 years ago established by right parameters. And so I'm not throwing previous boards under the bus. I'm just stating fact. I wasn't on the board at that time. I was a conservation director. How do we make this as best as we can? And my thinking, which can change, I'm asking my wife to cover her ears, that my thinking can change when I get more information. So if by right is such a bugaboo that we don't want to go there, I'm going to need to get more educated on it, because I was thinking this was our opportunity to set the rules, to go on offense and not play defense. That's what I'm hearing that maybe my thinking is flawed. The gentleman, Lee, he's going to get the microphone. And then the gentleman in front of him. And so,
Hi, Lee Halverson. I've got a question on, it's related to by right, but it's got to do with changing the square foot ratage, which is now 300 square feet of every building has to have one parking place. That's a significant thing that exists right now in by right. So if they're going to come in and build a 2 million or a 1 million square foot data center, they've got to put 3,000 parking places in it, which with lanes and curbs and gutters is probably 20 acres, which is probably why they haven't wanted to do it now. So that if we do away with that part of the current zoning, then they can come and bring anything into by right, no matter the danger to the citizens. Because the board made a decision some 30 years ago when nobody lived in most of the communities that we live in to allow by right when the monsters of data centers weren't the same. So by allowing by right now endangers the citizens. So the only control we have is that square foot ratio for the data centers. And in my opinion, and I'm just one older guy, my opinion, the reason why they haven't been here now is because that's a big step. That's a lot of square footage of revenue generating data centers that they wouldn't get if they had to put in that many parking spaces. So if the board rejects or takes out or modifies that down to something normal, then we will lose all control, the ability, and they will be able to come in with 50 feet and be as dangerous as they can be. So my question is, why not make this an issue part of the TOD and not a standalone thing? So that if you want them to come in, they will have to negotiate the parking spaces along with the buffers and offsets, so that the only way that they could come in is through the TOD, or they could go into the by right and still comply with the parking restrictions.
I'm taking mental notes. I have a pen and paper. I could write this down. Because we're live streaming, I'll be able to go back and look at this. These are great questions. And folks, I have a degree in economics and business administration from Bridgewater, which is actually a PhD from most other universities. But that's my belief. Kay, are you here? Yeah, there's another Bridgewater graduate. So, but my point is, I need to process these things. I'm not stupid, but I'm not going to present myself as able to completely grasp. And Lee, thank you. You've been a very faithful correspondent, and you brought issues to the table, and that's why I'm here. That's why we're having this kind of town hall instead of something remote. Yes, sir.
A comment. You mentioned at the beginning the water situation in Goochland County. Very restricted. The data
Tell me what you restricted.
You have problems with water pressure and water availability. Data center will consume huge amounts of water. The supporting SMR to power the data center will require even more cooling water. Have you even looked at that?
Yes, we have, and I want to do two
And
things.
where is the water coming from?
And I will answer. The water pressure issue is in the residential areas primarily, and that is an issue that Elizabeth has promised that she'll have solved in 2 hours. I mean, that we're working on the water pressure, and that is separate. We have an abundance available water to us. The Tuckahoe Creek Service District has a contract, and we source our water from Henrico. Elizabeth, I'm not going to put you on the spot. I think it's 20 million gallons a day. I mean, we got access to that amount. Sorry? 25, okay. See, I knew, I didn't even have to call a friend. So we have an ability, and we're using about 2 million, less than 2 million a day. So there is capacity for water. My approach and let's talk about data centers, because that's a hot topic. I would like to see they be a closed loop cooling, just like the radiator on your car, that we're not having to pull fresh water in all the time. And I've been advised by friends that that technology is becoming state of the art, because data centers don't want to spend a lot of money on water if they don't have to. They want to accomplish their goal as efficiently as possible. So we've looked at the water. Water pressure is a residential thing. Any kind of new construction, I'm here to believe, would address their water issues and would take care of that. So yes, we've looked at the water. Did I get the numbers right, Dr. Rayleigh? Pretty close. Someone else, there's a young lady back in the back standing up.
I have the microphone.
Oh, he has the microphone.
I have the microphone.
But I'm listening while I walk back, so she has the microphone next.
She's not her turn.
Hello? Oh, stop it. Oh, he is, okay.
All right. I'm having problems with what we're actually addressing here. The Tuckahoe Creek Service District, presently is all by right. Yes. But the zoning is all by right. Any company right now today can walk into Tuckahoe Creek Service District and establish a business by right. I'm not talking about killing it. I'm talking about what it is right now. Nothing's passed. There is no TOD. All right. Sarah, I see you sitting over there. We need a little help here. Come on, get up.
Hi, I'm Sarah Worley, the Deputy County Administrator for Community and Economic Development. So what Mr. Lyle was saying is accurate. The Tuckahoe Creek Service District services the water and sewer that feeds West Creek Business Park. West Creek Business Park has M1 zoning, which does allow certain uses to operate there by right now, like a data center and advanced manufacturing. Yes. M1 zoning has by right now, yes.
All right, so we already have by right in that zone. Now we're talking about the TOD. If the TOD comes in and overlaps that zone, they will also have by right. So from by right point of view, nothing's changing. It can be, they can be in there tomorrow with by right, or we can wait until this thing passes and we will have by right. As part of what's on the board right now going through this planning commission is the parking situation, where it's changing from one per 300 to 1 per 30. So if the TOD thing goes through, we will be down to 1 parking space per, 30 square feet? Per 30 square feet. So to his issue, I guess he made his point, he left. No. All right. That's right. One parking space per 30 square feet. Well, what is it? Right now, it's on the board. It's not. All right. Well, let's go on to just one other little issue while we're getting the microphone
Here's the
squared
microphone.
away.
Let's get this one out of the way.
I need to consult the ordinance because I can't remember off the top of my head what the parking, proposed new parking requirement is. But what you were saying, that would require more spaces, where we are proposing to require less spaces.
All right, so it must be the other way around then. 1 per 300 square feet versus 1 per 30 square feet right now. To his point. All right?
In concept, yes.
So he's made his point. This one, personal property, the business personal property tax for data centers. 3 different places in your website. One says 40 cents per thousand. The other one says 27 cents per, or not per thousand, per 100. 40 cents per 100. The other one says 27 cents per 100. And the third one says 23 cents per 100. Which is it?
So it's 40 cents per 100. The effective rate is less. So when businesses put in their business personal property tax rate annually, when they submit their list of business personal properties that they have, there's an assessment factor at 60%. So it's 40 cents, but the effective rate is actually a little bit lower.
We as residents don't get that option. Ours is $3.75 per 100, and all we can hope for is the assessment being less, which obviously, as Mr. Lyle has said, the assessment's never coming down. Oh yeah, well, someplace in the middle of that decade or 20 or 2 decades, something, they probably changed the assessment process and then realized, that's screwed up, we're gonna move it back up.
You have the microphone.
Hello? Oh, okay. I don't know how to use this thing, but my name is Diane Usley, and I live at Mosaic, 9315 Citrine Drive. Pardon? Okay. Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay. I know, really. My question is twofold. Is Eli coming in here because you are changing those, thinking of changing the TOD? Is that why they're coming? If not, that's a wonderful thing to get Lily here. Why do we need data centers if we get wonderful places like Lily without changing these zones, all these other things, worrying about data centers, about our noise level, all of those things. Why, when we can get Eli Lilly or other manufacturers that will come into a spot and not have any of these issues?
Okay, so the question was, Eli Lilly, and that was a conceptual plan, not a plan of development. But my understanding is that they do need height for their building, their robotics. And I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to answer your question. Well, she got to a conclusion before I did. There are a number of ways that the accommodation can be made. Eli Lilly is building a plant in Lebanon, Indiana right now. And they went through a CUP in order to get a 125-foot building built there. So we're going to bring Eli Lilly to this county, or you're going to say something, I hope, nice at my funeral. I mean, I am that committed to seeing this quality of a corporate citizen come to our county. And so the TOD does have the ability, because of building heights, to allow that. But we're going to bring Eli Lilly across that finish line. I mean, absolutely 100%. Before we move on, this gentleman, Mr. Kirby, has been very patient raising his hand. And I want to make sure I'm not, does that answer your question? Lilly is going to need some accommodation on their building height. Yes, and so. I'm not going to agree with that, because I'm going to speak for myself as a board member. They had, and everybody's aware with the non-disclosure agreements, if you don't tell me something, I can't repeat it. And so I was not aware of a lot of the heavy lifting that was being done before it came here. I have been aware of the TOD discussions, and does this make sense to bring any number of types of businesses, a data center being one of several or many. So I understand the data center is a hot button. I understand that. And I'm thinking it through, and I'm processing information. But I am committed to commercial development taking place in West Creek. Okay. So Tom, here's the microphone.
Thank you, Jonathan. Tom Kirby. I live on River Road near 288 in Benedictine. I want to follow up on Dave Pendergrass's comments a little bit with some questions. We have the spaghetti intersection, as you called it, and we've had lines of traffic coming into River Road from Patterson westbound that have backed up out of the turn lane and into the passing lane. It can be excessive. So we recently granted Benedictine a new CUP to increase headcount to 1,600 on the campus there. Was traffic considered at that time? And you can answer that when you get the mic back. Comment just about the Goochland County Superintendent, school superintendent, and the fact that we don't have many parents here tonight, and I think that's a shame, but I think that each of us, being a little bit maybe older in the county, better hope that they continue with the standards that they have now, because good academics decreases juvenile delinquency. And the county doesn't have a juvenile delinquency problem right now, so I commend the county school with that. The other part that I want you to well, think about the traffic, but okay.
Hey, Michael. Yes, we did. And we looked at that, and that's why we have our friends from VDOT here. They're taking notes. I'm not going to put them on the spot. They couldn't make a commitment. We're going to fix Spaghetti Junction. How exactly? I think I'm hearing we don't want to do a roundabout. Okay, I'm just confirming. But it needs attention. It is a high-impact crash site. VDOT wants to get people safely from point A to point B at the best and most efficient rate of speed. So yes, we looked at it with Benedictine. We understand we have an issue there. Mr. Pendergrass' comment that Benedictine should pay for it, that wasn't proffered. We're not going to go and just say, here's the bill, pay it, but it's going to get addressed. Okay, so here's the mic.
Okay. My next issue is with the county real estate taxes, and you showed your fact that there was a decrease in assessments after the Great Recession in the years 2011, 12, 13. But since that time, the county assessments have accelerated at an extremely fast pace. And that's supply and demand, to keep it simple. However, my question for you is it Virginia code that the county tax at the assessed value, or does the county have leeway to lower the amount of tax underneath that value?
In other words, could we say your house is I'm going to use simple math in case there are any Virginia Tech graduates in the room. So if your house is assessed at $100, we would only tax you on 60 of it, or 60%. That would, I believe, is something that can be done, but David Owen stood up, so I don't know if he was going to illuminate on that or not. If he is, I'm going to hand him the microphone. Okay, so the answer is yes. And the other would be to drop the rate from 53 cents to fill in the blank. Last year, and I'm saying this because it's true, I voted for a tax increase. I voted to keep the rate at 53. Your appraisal went up, and so you, in essence, paid a 5% increase in taxes because I did not vote to lower that rate. And we are good stewards of your money, I hope. We did not do silly things with it, but we do need to run the county. I've told you how we need more fire rescue service or sheriff's deputies and all. So I'd like to see us grow the pie, which is the commercial growth that we're seeing in West Creek. Somewhere I was going to make a comment about the, and I've forgotten it, so I'm not even going to try. Yes, sir, you're in my line of sight, so you're the lucky Pierre.
Thank you. I'm going to comment a little bit on your tax assessments, because you asked a question if anybody knew. Been a broker for 35 years, so a little bit in this business, real estate. So the areas, the times that it came down, that was right after the biggest housing bust possibly can imagine. So what happens with assessments are always ahead of the market or behind the market. So in 5, 6, and 7, when the market was going up, assessments go up because they base it off of sales by buyers, not by value. In the assessor's office, our assessor's office bases it off of data from our association and what market data comes out and what has increased from year to year. And if it's 8%, they go up 8%. If it's 9%, it goes up 9%. It might be a formula that you showed us, but when the market tanks, assessments are high, and then it takes 2 or 3 years for it to come back. But when it transfers, then it transfers at that price. So if a property hadn't sold in 20 years and then it transfers, then it looks like it was low for many years, but then it goes up. So the reason why everybody in this room moved to Goochland is because they wanted the rural life, but they also wanted to have the amenities that we have in Henrico. So the ad valorem tax plus the personal property tax is less than living in Henrico County. If you add the two together, it's less than Henrico County. So if you add certain businesses in West Creek, which has had 35 years to do that, if you add certain businesses, it will decrease the values of the eastern part of the county. Mosaic, Reader's Branch. No, the one thing that you don't want to hear is the things in Henrico County. Why do so many people go to the school board when they plan on changing the territory of schools? Because schools and value are related. They don't want to hear that, but it's true. The value of eastern part of Goochland is $750,000. The median price in Goochland is over $750. Henrico, it's $450. So that's why people are moving to Goochland is to get that rural feel. But the value of Goochland is so high because of it's so popular. If you take the popularity out of Goochland, you'll decrease the values. And it's all about supply and demand. So the more supply you have, if you put data centers in West Creek, then the supply will go up, demand will go down. It's simple economics. And that's why we're in the market today, is because we have more demand than we do supply. So that's why prices. So assessments will go down. It's not a matter they can't, it will go down because it's based on market conditions and values of what buyers are willing to pay for the property.
I know, I love being in Goochland because there's no way on God's green earth I could ever assemble this amount of information in detail. And so I'm not sucking up. I'm sincerely thankful that you folks are here and sharing this information because I'm being schooled again. I mean, in a good way. So this young lady has a question.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lyle. It's been a long time since anybody called me young.
Yeah.
My name is Susan Beneva. I am both a resident of Goochland and a business owner in Goochland. And I really appreciate, most of all, your earnestness about saying, I want to have a dialogue. I really want us to have a dialogue. And I mean that genuinely. One of the things that I know that's necessary for a dialogue that leaves everyone feeling satisfied in the end, which is what we want in any negotiation, is that we all feel we completely understand the issue at hand. You have more familiarity with this issue. You've been dealing with it for a long, long time. Those of us who are newer residents and business owners just feel like we've been hit. We are just beginning to understand the complexity of all the things we don't know, which is not a good place from which to have a dialogue and to make a really informed decision and to ask the appropriate questions and not be asking really stupid questions, which I find myself inclined to do, given my lack of education about the many issues. So I am most concerned about why there's such a rush. Why can we not have the time that we need as citizens and business owners to thoughtfully and in a well-educated manner respond to what we think we're hearing, but we're not even sure. If you could read all of the emails that go through Mosaic in a day, you would know that we really don't have any idea what's happening. And that's not the way any of us want to make a decision, nor I'm sure that you as a supervisor don't want to be hearing years down the road, well, we didn't understand, we didn't know, we weren't in support, why didn't you tell us this, what about that? And I'm afraid this is a train wreck waiting to happen. So please help me understand why we can't move the deadlines significantly. That's the one piece. The other question I have is, I was listening to your discussion of the problems with keeping up with the infrastructure in regard to fire stations, EMTs, all those things. Chesterfield's data centers had 4 fires in the past year. That seems significant. The little bit of research I've had time to do would suggest that that's not unusual in a data center. I can't imagine how we're going to maintain the safety of residents when we have that kind of need from data centers as well. Thank you so much for addressing those 2 questions. I really appreciate it.
That's why we're here. Dr. Ailey will get the microphone back. So I want to summarize. The one, why are we moving this along? I come from the private sector, and I get phone calls of, why does it take me so long to get a permit, to get this, to get that? Why can't government be more efficient? And so, but I also understand where you're coming from. If this is a priori and brand new and I need to ramp up, I mean, I made the joke earlier, I spent 3 years in the 3rd grade, but I didn't. But there are some things that I do need to chew on to grasp and understand, because I have been involved and immersed in some of the county, a lot of the county operations, yes, I've maybe picked some of this up. So your comment is appreciated. People want to understand. When I was in business development, I didn't like to call it sales, but I was in sales. If there's unanswered questions, there's doubt. And if there's doubt, there's no sale. I mean, until we had answered the client's understanding of what benefits they were going to get. And we're here tonight so that we can share information. And if there's still more to be shared, I drink my coffee with sugar and cream. I'll come anywhere, any place to have this conversation. But we're trying to be efficient. I mean, to drag something out, and why does it take 18 months to do fill in the blank? Or can we do something? And yet I'm hearing this may be too fast for many folks who truly want to be up to speed and understand. So I'm sensitive to that.
All right.
Whoops.
Here I am.
I'm hearing an undercurrent of.
Here I am.
Yes. And the fire stations, we have what's called a capital improvement plan. And we do not, because we're an efficient operation in Goochland, we don't have sacks of money just sitting around saying, what do we do with it? So we plan. And quite frankly, some of the growth in the county happened perhaps a little more robustly than we were anticipating. And then also the number of calls. I received one email that suggested, accused might be a better word, but suggested that we had the 55 plus communities so we wouldn't have children in schools and those kind of demands. What wasn't understood is the number of ambulance calls. And we have discovered, Chief, I hope I'm not speaking out of class. There's one place that is termed by the staff, the place, someone like Voldemort, we don't say it, the place we don't say, because we make so many transportation calls there that it's almost like we just should park the ambulance there because we know the call is going to come in the next couple hours. So we missed the mark, I would say, in understanding what the ambulance call volume would be. We're addressing that. We can only hire and properly train so many new staff in a year. I mean, I have been part of a company that grew too quickly, and we had inexperienced staff and not the right cadre. And so we're trying to balance it. I believe fire rescue and the sheriff are doing a great job in balancing that. It's my job as a supervisor is not approve so many new homeowner developments, I guess, but that doesn't get me in good with the Home Building Association. I'm okay with that too, by the way. But it is a balance. I will put our fire rescue and our sheriff's department up against any surrounding county. I think best in class. But they need to be properly funded, and we're going to get there. And then the understanding of what is it really we're talking about. And again, I was thinking, oh, we're going to define the rules, and somebody wants to come play is going to follow our rules, and they're going to come and say, these are the rules we want to follow. You're helping me understand my paradigm or my perspective hasn't either been fully explained, or maybe I need to rethink my perspective. Barry?
Hi, Barry, excuse me, Barry Moore. Thank you for the time. I'm in Mosaic. And a lesson for all of us that want to run for office, realize you probably were getting 2 emails a month, and you're now at how many in your box? Just by getting people active in their community, right?
Barry, I think you're saying that I was not very popular and nobody wanted to talk to me.
No, I think you got to be careful what you ask for. And listening to the residents is key. And to run it out there a little bit down in marketing to see what would the response be. I don't know that anyone involved in this decision-making thought this was going to be the response. Okay. And the dislike. So thank you for what you're doing. And as I always keep saying, elections have consequences. This county, I bought in this county to be part of Goochland, right, for the rest of my life, and retire here and die here. And what happened with the disclosure? And you say 2018, I keep hearing the same thing. We knew in 18 this could happen, but we still built all the homes. They forgot to Shell and Stalcraft and HH, they forgot to disclose anything that might be coming down the pike. All the houses get almost built, and now we start to hear this is what's going to happen. I encourage, I could get you, if there's 10 of you making a decision, I will find you tonight 10 homes in Mosaic. They will sell you for what they closed at. You take the financial risk and watch your investment go down 20, 25%. if you put a data center and the quality of life to not be what you want it to be as a retiree. So if you keep that in mind in all your dialogue, I know you're all talking, that's what you do, and I appreciate it. There's got to be a way to think this through. When I live in a development and I'm only there a number of months and I hear people saying, I can't sleep at night, I'm a wreck, because they're seeing their future, the development that they worked their whole life for in Mosaic. This is where we came to. We didn't go to Ashland, we didn't go to Chesterfield, we didn't go to Henrico, we came to Goochland, probably all for the same reason. It was an incredible deal, right? We thought, paid a premium, everything's a premium, and we paid it graciously. Do we want to make money on our homes, Jonathan? Of course, but chances are we're all going to die in the houses, so it doesn't matter. Honestly, be realistic. So this is not my starter home. This is not the middle of life home. This is where I want to die. My moving company is either Blyleys or Dignity. They're going to take care of me. That's why I moved. But when I hear people, and I've heard more than 2 or 3 people saying they're awake at night, they're sick over the last 10 days, 12 days, right? And they're just so getting depressed on this. We're going to get sick over that. Wait till they get the humming 24/7, 7 days a week, if we were to get a data center. And if the big question I'm going to ask you, and I'll give you a minute to think about it, is there a way to stop? And the bottom line, nobody wants a data center in Mosaic. Nobody. That's it. So asking the decibel, you're being very diligent. You're asking intelligent questions. What is the level of noise? 0. Now, I'm afraid we're distracted with this. If there's no data center really coming, and maybe this is just being passed down the line, should we be asking more about Eli Lilly? Do we not know what's coming there also that could affect us? I've never met anybody in my development in 7 or 8 months that has said they don't believe economic development is good. Nobody. We understand, to be in the game, you got to have jobs, you got to create an economy. So anyway, we can go on and on. Thank you for answering the emails, all of you. And there's probably a lot of sarcasm, a lot of bitterness coming across in some of the emails.
Yeah,
I apologize.
I'm married.
Yeah. But realize it's more emotion right now. And all we need to know, we look at maps, we don't even know whose backyard is it going to be in. If we do an SRM, when they have to take it out every 7 years, the stuff's got to be replaced. Where does that waste go? When they close down for 30 days?
Gary, I am going to somewhat interrupt because
go ahead.
I was given the hook. We're supposed to be here until 8, and I'm not sure how belligerent Presbyterians get when you overstay your welcome. I see the office manager giving me the eye, but I do appreciate. I cannot here right now. I mean, okay. So I think you're going to be our last question of the night, young lady. Yes, ma'am. I got to get you a microphone.
Good evening, and thank you for doing this. I appreciate the town hall because not everybody's doing them. I've heard some really great points tonight. I have an engineering background. I have an engineering degree. I went to Goochland High School in the 80s. So I've moved back here and brought my family here. And I plan to die here in my house. So what I seem to think is these major companies, we all like economic growth, we like the money from it. However, these companies are seeking out locations, they're shopping, just like we shop to buy our house. We check boxes on that realtor.com to find our location. And our criteria were mine were very high. I had very high standards to move back home. I think it's, as we look at, if you're looking at changing the regulations that were set, let's look at West Creek that was developed almost 40 years ago. I did a project in college for urban planning and design, and I studied West Creek as they were forming it. And one of the problems was the water issue. If you can go back, I dug through county documents in the county administrator's office to learn about it. That problem has not gone away. And development has grown and grown. population has grown. So you look at these hard facts that we haven't gotten new resource of water. So there's a depletion of resources as we grow as a population. So I think we have to be very careful looking at changing the parking requirements. Any requirements you change, those corporations that are seeking out locations are checking their boxes too. And they can scroll down through the data and find the locations that would allow them to come in. And then they find ways to save money and cut on taxes that they pay. That's what you're seeing from the data centers falling on banking to save them money. So I'm just here to say caution, huge caution, because then you start to move to industrial gas peaking plants, great health risk. Everybody can get excited about nuclear plants, but the gas peaking plants are very scary, and that would really threaten the health of the whole county. So please use caution, continue to have these meetings, and for heaven's sakes, look at the regulations hard. Do not change them without consulting engineers and other locations who have actually implemented these things, and not just, gee, who didn't take them and why didn't they, but who took them and wish they hadn't, because they're changing their lives irreversibly.
Okay. The gentleman who served you in District 5 for 12 years, Ken Peterson, was phenomenal. And he, I will say, somewhat mentored me so far as these community meetings. And he would always ask at the end of one, he says, are these a good idea? Should we keep doing them? I know you all committed time tonight to be here. If this was not useful, I'll stop doing them. I find them useful for me. I mean, I really do. You folks are sharing information. I don't have the wherewithal to do this much work on my own, so you're sort of staff for me in a sense. It is 8:06. I'm gonna sort of shoot my. No, this is sincere. Will you please send me an email so I know how to get in touch with you if you haven't already, and many of you may have, but I don't have access to your contact information. My cards, my phone number, 804-784, there it is, it's on the screen. I mean, after 9 o'clock, I may not pick up. I get up around 4:30 in the morning. If anybody else is early riser, we can chat. I know Dr. Raley gets in the office early. He and I talk about 6 in the morning. I want to hear from you. And thank you for being here. If, I'm going to help put the chairs up. If anybody wants to help with that, that's great. But thank you for coming, and let's keep on keeping on. Did you get your questions in?